So today, guys, we are dropping episode 1 of the podcast. We're going to go into a deep dive with Kevin McKenzie, who is 50% of GenZone. He's the guy, he's the company that I'm always saying, click on the link below, because he helped me come to Dubai and I call him Mr. Fix-It. So he's somebody that whatever you need, he can help you. GenZone have been great with me. They have helped hundreds of people relocate here, and we're going to go into a deep dive on the level of service, how it works. We talk about money, wealth creation, how to keep your money, which I think is probably even more important than earning it in the first place, because I don't think it doesn't matter what you earn, it matters what you keep, which was a little bit of advice that was given to me some years ago. And I asked Kevin as well for some pearls of wisdom around what he thinks is good business advice. But I hope you enjoy the episode. Let me know what you think. Comment below and let me know if there's somebody that you want to see on the podcast. Anyway, I hope you enjoy episode 1 of the podcast. Let me know what you think. And without further ado, here is Mr. Kevin McKenzie. Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the podcast. I'm joined today by international man of mystery, Kevin McKenzie of GenZone, Dubai's Mr. Fix-It, as I call him. So, Kevin, welcome.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dan. Honestly, I'm so happy to be here. It's crazy to see you, from the first time we met to you being in Dubai and being established here and this YouTube channel and everything you're doing. It's so cool to see you grow.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pleasure. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Kevin McKenzie. I am the co-founder of GenZone. We help people set up companies in Dubai, get residency, bank accounts. Dan's been through all of that. We'll discuss it on today's call, but not today's call. I'm so stuck in in being on a call with you. We'll discuss it in today's podcast. But if you guys need anything Dubai related, Dan will talk about it on his YouTube channel. And if you need any more assistance, there's a link down below to book a call.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, as you said, we'll talk about it in a bit, because I would like to talk about my journey through the process, because on the YouTube videos, I'm constantly saying, book a call with GenZone below. And it would be good for people, I think, to hear in a bit more of a long form way exactly what that process was like for me. Spoiler alert, it was awesome. But we'll talk about it in a bit. But I think it would be good, for people to kind of see the man behind the business. I know you're 50% of GenZone. You have a business partner, I think is Cheyenne.
Yeah, we have Cheyenne as well, my co-founder. And of course, we have our operations team that handles all the admin work, following up with the Freezone Authorities, banking partners that we have. It is a small boutique team, but at the same time, there's actually a lot of moving parts. But we don't like our clients to know that, because that's not your job. Your job is just to come here, enjoy, make your own money with your own business, and not worry about setting up, all this boring stuff.
Well, from somebody that runs a small business myself, and we have a few moving parts that our clients don't see. A little bit like the Wizard of Oz, I was able to I could sort of peek behind the curtain just with some of the things, and the operation you run is deceptively complicated. I think it's a well-oiled machine, and I think again we'll talk about that in a bit. So early life, Kevin, were you born in Canada?
So my dad is a diplomat. He's a Canadian diplomat. So I was actually born in Guatemala.
Oh, wow.
Funny enough, I was born in Guatemala. I am Guatemaltec because I did recently get that passport. So, but I have no ties to that country at all other than the passport. But after that, when my dad retired, we, finished living in Canada. So he retired in Canada. I grew up in Canada, in Ottawa, the capital, until I was basically 21 years old, which is when I moved to Dubai. So I went to university in Canada, did all that stuff, met my co-founder, Cheyenne, in university in Canada as well. I was there for finance, and it was good, but not what I wanted. I was a financial advisor at one point. I was working at the CRA at one point as well, which is the tax man of Canada, like I like to call them. And, that was okay. I was great at that. I did really well working those jobs, but it was never fulfilling for me. And I always knew I wanted to do something else. And like a lot of people during COVID, when you started to work at home, you would try to do something else on the side. And that was e-commerce, marketing, and we did all this stuff. And eventually, they worked out. And it worked out so well to the point where we wanted to save money in taxes. And of course, the next step was to look for a place where you could reduce your taxes legally. Of course, you can reduce your taxes illegally, but that's not what we want to do. I like to sleep peacefully at night.
Yeah.
So I looked at many places. I looked at Paraguay, I looked at Bahamas, I looked at the Cayman Islands, I looked at Dubai, which was actually, funny enough, the last one that I was doing my research on. But immediately when I saw Dubai and I learned about Dubai, I knew instantly that it was a place for me. Same for you. I assume it's probably the same way you made this decision.
Yeah.
It's just the best place. So we moved here back in, our business was registered here, I think in 2022 of April. So it's over 2.5 years now. And since then, we've been running GenZone and growing GenZone and helping people set up their businesses here. But initially, GenZone was actually more of just a general consultancy for marketing.
Oh, wow.
But that then transitioned to helping people because we had a lot of friends and a lot of people who were asking us, how did you set up in Dubai? How did you set up? And I would tell them how I did it, but it was just too confusing for them. And at the same time, I didn't feel comfortable recommending anyone else's services because I couldn't recommend it. So, people would mention these big name companies and I would look at their Google reviews and they would have terrible reviews, 1-star reviews, avoid them. So I couldn't do that to my friends. And that's why I said, you know what, I'll just help you personally. I did about 20 company setups for free for people who just wanted our assistance. And after that, of course, we're like, you know what? We're definitely the best in the market. And I can say that confidently. I really do believe in this. We're the best in the market. Let's just start this business and, lay off the consulting marketing side of things. And it just took off. Because honestly, when you have a good service, it's impossible not to grow because everyone's going to refer you, right? Like we're on a podcast today because you had a good service. And if it was a bad service, you would be 100 feet away from me. Absolutely. Or 1,000 miles away from me, maybe. So
yeah, that's exactly right. I think the level of service that I received exceeded my expectations. And I've spoken to a couple of people here that have been through this kind of process of getting here. They used a different setup. And I'm not sure you and I have actually talked about this, but I mentioned it briefly on my channel where I started before even coming across you guys. I started using another company. I'll tell you who they are afterwards.
Breaking news.
Yeah, exactly. And the way I framed it in the video is I said, I got scammed. Did I get scammed? Maybe. But I parted with $1,300 to start the process. And I think the entire process they were saying they were going to do for like $4,000, $5,000 or something. And the entire thing just went nowhere.
Oh my God.
These are they seem like a legit company. I think they were run out of India. It was a mistake. And it's, I just cut my losses, just cut it and then came to you guys.
Fair enough. Honestly, you'd be surprised. You're not the only one. I know you just told me this now, but I have a lot of clients who come to me and they're like, Kevin, yesterday, I was at a dinner with one of my clients as well. Actually, 2 of them.
Yeah. And
they told me that one of their friends got scammed for $20,000 twice for business setup, twice. So the first time they totally just got scammed. And the second time they were told they were going to get a business registered in Dubai. And then they actually got registered in another emirate that's super far away. Wow. And the craziest part is it was $20,000. You don't need to spend $20,000 to set up a business in Dubai. You don't need to. Of course, if you want to get a premium, super, super premium, and maybe there's a specific requirement for you to do this, and it costs that much, sure. But a general business setup does not cost that much. But the fact that they went a step further and scammed them too is insane to me.
Yeah, I
mean,
mean,
it's pretty common. You'd be surprised.
Well, exactly. I mean, these guys, now that I know a little bit about, because of you guys, now that I know just a tiny bit about what I'm doing now, the solution that they were proposing to me was nonsense anyway. They were talking about setting me up in something called Shams, which is Sharjah Media City or something. Yeah. So it was all going to be registered in Sharjah, and it was just, looking back on it, it makes absolutely
not what you needed.
No, it makes no sense at all. And that's what I liked about working with you guys, is even before, a penny had changed hands, it was a very
you gave me a ton of, basically free advice on this is what we're going to do, this is how it's going to work, this is how it's going to look like, and boom, 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 it just went like clockwork. Again, we'll talk about that in a second, but yeah, interesting that you were born in Guatemala and
super rare.
Yeah.
To be honest, breaking news for most people. I don't really tell people that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it seems like you've gone on a bit of a journey to get like multiple passports as well. I know that that's a bit of a sort of, what is it? They call it like a 3 flags or 5 flag system or something. You're just getting different citizenships.
Yeah, the 5 flag theory.
Yeah.
That's a theory where you try to diversify your life, your finances, your assets across 5 flags, like 5 different countries. You don't have to do 5 countries, but the theory is if you can do that, you're well diversified and you don't have to worry.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about one country ruining you essentially. And in the last year, I did get 2 new citizenships. So I got the UK citizenship.
Oh, wow.
Because my father was born in England.
Okay.
And he was raised in England. And then, of course, I'm Canadian. And I recently got the Guatemala passport as well. So I have 3. I have one more secret one that I'm not going to get now. But, of course, with these 3 passports, I can actually apply for another passport in the future. So it's kind of just a collection thing at that point. I don't really care to do it right now.
Yeah.
If it actually comes to the point where I really actually want to get any other citizenships with a Latin American passport, you can actually go and get another one from Spain. So
wow.
Yeah, so there's a fast track Spanish citizenship for those people. But anyway, that's like far away. I don't have any desire to do that right now.
No, I think the closest that I've come to doing that, which I have actually done, is you'll have never heard of it, a place called Palau.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like the island.
Yeah, how do you know about Palau?
Yeah, I know everything. That's interesting.
Yeah. So if you're interested in a second citizenship, it'll cost you $200 and you could become a resident of Palau. Why you would want to become a resident of Palau, I have no idea. There's no benefit, but I did it just because it was exciting, and why not?
That's how it is, honestly. Most of these passport collecting people, it's usually just like just for fun, for the prestige of having. I have 4 passports.
Yeah, it's like collecting Pokemon cards.
Exactly.
Or something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so I think this is probably a good time to actually talk about my experience with you, because as I say, in all of my videos, I'm constantly saying, book a call with GenZone, and you'll probably book a call with Kevin. But let me talk through my experience and what I had, because as I say, it exceeded my expectations. And we had our initial call, and I just thought, 100%. This is, we talked price, and which I actually thought was quite reasonable. Obviously, you can talk to your customers about pricing and stuff, but I thought that's actually quite reasonable. And there's obviously that trade-off between cost versus value, and I think the value is also exceptional as well. So basically, I didn't really have to do anything. You asked me a bunch of questions, and I filled out a couple of forms that you and your team, I think it was Daryl, sent me some forms to fill in, which I filled in. It took me, half an hour. I sent the forms back, and I think one of the authorities, because I hadn't signed it correctly, they kept rejecting it, which was my fault, nothing to do with you.
Yeah, I remember that.
But I can imagine doing that on my own. Imagine just trying to deal with people and trying to deal with the authorities, and I haven't signed this thing correctly. And I think where your sort of superpower lies is, from what I can tell, Dubai works a lot, especially within government institutions, works a lot on kind of who you know and how you can kind of expedite a process. Whereas if you're not kind of plugged into that system, I think things can just take forever. I don't know. Maybe that's
you're totally right.
Yeah,
totally right. Because the thing is, because we're partnered with these Freezone Authorities, and we bring them so many clients, they know us by name.
Right.
So we give them a call. They're like, "Hey, Kevin." Even without any caller ID, they know who it is just by the voice, because we call them maybe not every single day.
Yeah.
Daryl calls them a lot, actually.
Yeah.
But whenever there's issues, instead of just being stuck in a void of just being in the middle of paperwork, we get you to the top because we follow up with them. We make sure that it's done properly. We make sure to tell them, listen, you have to do this, please do this quick. We need to do this for this date.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not just like you're on your own. You're with people who know how to expedite it, and with people who have respect at these places where, if you have a friend, you're going to treat them a little bit better than a random person on the street.
Yeah, exactly. And that seemed to play out where we had these, I caused a few issues with the signature not being correct and things like that. So that went very smoothly. And then, there was a pause of, a week, 2 weeks, and then boom, had a business set up. You worked with my timeframes, because originally when we spoke, I was thinking, well, I might not do this for 12 months. And you were like, well, look, let's just get the company set up. And then you can come in and spend sort of 3 months here or a couple of months. And then, you can come out and, you don't have to, you're not getting married here. You can come in and out, which I thought made sense. It's like, yeah, let's just get the company set up. But then my plans changed because we had the Labour government come in the UK, which again, we can talk about in a minute.
Yes.
And I just thought, enough, let's just go. Plus, if I didn't leave by a certain date, I would remain a tax resident of the UK for a further 6 months, despite being in Dubai. So it's like I have to get on with it. And you guys were great in terms of just, pressing the accelerator pedal and just getting everything done in record time. I don't think it was even another 2 weeks before I had my residency.
Yeah, not even.
Everything set up. And not only that, but when I booked my flights, you sent me some documents and it's like, okay, fine. There was like a map of the airport. There was a photograph of where to go. Like, it was like even an idiot like me couldn't mess it up. So when I landed in Dubai, I hadn't slept for 24 hours. I hadn't eaten for 24 hours. I'm not a great flyer, so I was super anxious. I was in a new place, and all I had to do was just look at the document, and it's like, oh, boom, that's where I'm going. It was so simple, and things like that are there. You don't realize the value in them until you actually need them, And it's obviously you've been through this hundreds and hundreds of times, and you've obviously dealt with hundreds of clients, all kinds of people that make mistakes and, idiots like me that will mess it up. But even I managed to do it. So it was a very, very simple process. And then as we were actually talking off air about me being very anxious when I first got here, and I was in the hotel and I then had to do a medical. So not only did was I really strung out from the flight, I was like, oh man, I've got to do my medical, which you arranged again in record time. It was like, I asked for a morning appointment. It was done. It was arranged for like the next day in this beautiful facility.
Yeah, it is nice.
Yeah. It's lovely. And I was met at the medical center by a human being, somebody that works with GenZone, for GenZone. I'm really sorry, I forget the guy's name. Nafal, that's it, yeah.
But the person can change depending.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Lovely guy. He met me there. He dealt with the appointment. I didn't have to do anything. I just tagged along and he sorted everything out, all the paperwork, all the appointment, then took me to do my biometrics. It could not have been simpler. And just having that kind of chaperone there, it felt like I'd paid $100,000 for the service. Do you know what I mean?
I love that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that.
It's great. And that's why I'm such an advocate. That's why I wanted to kind of get you on the podcast. I wanted to meet you and just say, thanks, man. It really went so smoothly that I'm a real advocate for the business and what you do. So anyway, that's enough kind of kissing your butt. But it means
a lot to me. Honestly, it means a lot to me because like when I first did this process for myself, I didn't use an agency because I didn't trust them. And it was terrible. It was really terrible. We wasted money, wasted time. And I was always thinking like, I wish I could have someone that could help me with the process. And even right now, when I'm looking for a new place to rent for the year, it's so hard to find someone that's actually good.
Yeah.
Like it makes me think like, oh my God, should I get into real estate to give people a good service? Like it's so annoying, honestly. And anyway, so I I always wanted to give a good experience for people. Within 1 week, have your business registered, 1 week entry permit, flying to Dubai, 1 week residency and banking, or 2 weeks residency and banking, depending, and done. So that's basically how it is. But you know that guide that you're mentioning, the one that I sent you, that guide was, and you mentioned, we've helped hundreds of people. It was created because of the mistakes that we've learned from all these hundreds of people going through the process. So we added things. So whenever someone would say, Kevin, well, you didn't tell me about this, I say, okay, no problem. Here's X. I'll give you something, so that you can be happy about it, whatever it is. And then I added to the list. So that list was built with, tears.
Yeah, exactly.
Not real tears, but like, for example, I had a client who maybe I did tell them, I did communicate it to them something, but then they didn't remember it and they didn't do whatever, and it costs whatever amount of money, $500, let's say. I'll pay for it out of my pocket. That's my fault. I should have had it written really, really well communicated. Not even just like say it to you once, but say it to you, communicate, then remind, so that you don't have issues. That's my fault. I always take accountability.
Yeah.
Because I'm the one bringing you to this country. I want to make sure that it's perfectly smooth. And now finally, those things don't happen anymore. Like I can remember the last time it happened was last year. And since then, there's never been any problems like that. So.
Yeah, I mean that reminds me actually. You and I had when I was coming to pay, which again you were very sort of gracious about. We split it into a couple of payments, but one of the ways that I was looking to pay, there was a fee involved, and that's my problem. It's not your problem. But literally the first thing you said was, okay, let's see if we can work together with that. Maybe we can split that. And I was like, okay, I mean, there's no need to do that, but that was you didn't have to do that. So I think you seem to be quite a fair guy. Yeah,
honestly, I that's actually like funny that you say that. Like the number one thing I like to do is like be super fair. Like with anything, I put myself in the client's position or anyone's position. Would I want that being done to me? Yes. Okay, good. No, then don't do that to them.
Yeah.
So
that's treat others as you.
And sometimes I'm a little too generous. Sometimes people are like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, I don't know. Like I had a client yesterday. He was, or 2 days ago, he was telling me, Kevin, are you guys picking me up from the airport? Usually, we actually don't provide that as a service.
No.
But for some reason, he thought we would. So I was like, you know what?
Why not?
No, but I'm going to do it just because he said it. So we're gonna have a Maybach Sprinter van pick this guy up.
Oh, wow.
Just because he said it. Now, guys, don't start saying, Kevin, you promised me Maybach pickup. I'm going to, I put that in my notebook again to communicate it properly now.
Yeah.
But,
no, fair enough.
Just because of that, I want to keep him happy. He's coming to Dubai first time with his girlfriend. We want to make sure everything is smooth. So done. That's it.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. No Maybach.
No more Maybach. Unless we speak about it.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, actually, before I move on, I think one thing I will say about one of the biggest sort of shocks for me coming here was like the medical facilities. Like holy
Insane.
moly! Like because I did a video on it on the channel about the Smart Salim Medical Center is it like Knowledge City?
Yeah, DIFC.
Yeah, DIFC. Man, it was insane. It was like being on the bridge of like the Starship Enterprise or something.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like back home, there's no such thing.
So, and you wouldn't know this because I don't think you've been watching the channel, but when I did my medical, I actually, they picked up a medical issue, nothing bad. I was diagnosed with diabetes, which I didn't know I had. I kind of freaked out a little bit thinking, what? But the doctor, she was amazing. Obviously, you have to pay for the medication here. In fact, maybe we'll talk about insurance and things like that in a minute. But the appointment was done the same day. So I had my blood test. I had the diagnosis because my blood sugar was actually really quite high. And the doctor called me and said, a little bit concerned about this. I think you should come back. So I came back. I paid for them, but I had drugs the same day. And I've been taking them for like 6 weeks, and my blood sugar, I'm completely normal.
Amazing.
Completely normal.
Amazing. Wow. That's it's not awesome news of course, but that's good that you're getting treatment for that now. Otherwise you would have never known.
I'd have never known.
That's insane actually. Wow.
I mean, there's a few things that I think I can look back on and say, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. It's like some symptoms, but I've been living with it for a long time. But anyway, this is not, let's not turn this into the diabetes podcast, but it's, But yeah, it's an insane set of medical facilities out here. So the thing with the channel that I am trying to do with it is it's based on some advice that I was given years ago, which is it's not necessarily about how much money you make, but it's about how much money you can keep. Mm-hmm. So a lot of that plays into running a business, and I think there's a few exceptions, but you'll probably never get fabulously wealthy working for someone else. So it's probably going to be running your own business. But if you're in a Western country, whether it's Europe, US, Canada, these places that I imagine the vast majority of your clients come from, your biggest expense, and people say, oh, the biggest expense is staff, it's this. It's like, it's not, dude, it's taxes. Like it's absolutely crazy, the level of tax that as a business person that you're subjected to. Now, I don't know how it is in Canada, and I dare say it's been a while since you've sort of run a business like physically in Canada, but in the UK, we have the corporate taxes, which are going up, which is like 25% of everything you make, which is insane.
Yeah.
Plus, if you hire staff, we have something called employers' national insurance, which is, you pay your staff member $1,000 or £1,000. Obviously, you pay more than that, but just because my maths is not fantastic, you pay 12.5% on top of that. Yeah. So you pay an extra £120 just for the privilege of hiring a staff member.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. To be honest, it's bad. Plus, even little things, quote unquote, like VAT that you have to charge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
20%.
Like, you don't have to do that here.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're selling goods and services to people that live inside of Dubai, yes. But if you have a business in Dubai, like you have, but you're selling services outside of the UAE, 0 VAT. So that is so good for getting more clients, making it easier for them to afford it, of course, and it just makes prices way more reasonable. So that's a huge benefit. Of course, taxes are really high, and you mentioned in Canada too, very high as well. All the stuff that you mentioned, we have similar things. It's terrible. It can get up to 54% in the highest tax bracket for personal taxes. Corporate taxes in Canada aren't terrible, but at the end of the day, if you want to get that money outside of the corporation, it has to get taxed on a personal level. There's no way to avoid that. So yes, you can defer taxes, but
well, exactly.
Eventually you'll pay it.
I mean, you're getting taxed 25, 30, 40, 50% on, a business. Then you're taking money from that business and you're getting taxed 25, 28% as well. Then when it comes to your pension, you're going to get taxed on that. And I think in principle, I'm not, although I sound like I'm, some tax dodger, I'm not actually that opposed to taxes, despite, it's obviously nice not to pay them, but I'm not hugely opposed to taxes on principle. But again, it's the cost versus the value. In the UK, where I live, like I don't see any value in the taxes. So I lived in a place called Bristol, which is a lovely city. I moved there in 2015, something like that, from London, which I hated London, but I moved to Bristol, which was lovely, and then slowly it's just decayed and decayed and decayed, and the taxes that you're paying, the tax burden is getting higher and higher and higher for less and less services. To give you an idea, again, I mentioned this in a previous video, just one that's actually just been uploaded. There's a telephone box that's just around the corner from where I used to live. By the way, 6 people were stabbed on my street and killed in 2 years.
Jeez.
So what they've done is they've repurposed this telephone box. They've ripped out the phone. They've put a defibrillator and a bleed kit in it.
Oh my God.
So that when people are stabbed, they can be revived.
Jeez.
Yeah, so...
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So, yeah, you're not really getting anything for...
No, that's really scary, honestly.
...the money. So now that you're a resident here in Dubai and you've been here for... you've been here for years now, haven't you?
Yeah, like 2.5 years, basically.
So what is it that you particularly like about Dubai? What can you say to people that are in a Western country that are thinking about coming to Dubai? What is it? having sort of, soaked into the place now, what is it that you actually like about it?
Yeah, I mean, there's two really different things to keep in mind. You can come to Dubai as a tourist, and it's incredible, obviously, and then you can come to Dubai and live here, and it's still incredible. If you're living here, you'll notice that the level of convenience for everything here is on another level. You want to have food delivered to your house, no problem. It's easy. It's extremely cheap. It's not expensive. You want to get, you want to get a new car. It's not that expensive compared to in the West. I don't know about in England, but in the West, it's not that expensive. Fuel is cheap here. Food is cheap here. Everything is cheap here, and everything is on another level. So I was actually just thinking about this. I was like, what if I spent the same amount of money that I would spend on rent here in Dubai versus India, for example? And then I went on Airbnb and I was looking at India, and I'm like, for the same price, there is nothing even close to as luxurious in India.
No way.
Surprisingly. In India, you would expect it because they just don't have the same level of quality. And no hate against India. I'm just saying, when I was looking, maybe it was the wrong city that I was looking at. I was looking at Kerala specifically, but Dubai is on another level, and everything is super affordable here. It's just so convenient. I just love living here. The weather is so nice. You know what it's going to be like, tomorrow. Sunny. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be sunny. And the day after that, it's going to be sunny. The people here are really cool as well. Like you mentioned, you can network with so many interesting people, incredible people. Back home, it's not the same. And you were talking to me earlier about that a little bit. You want to elaborate on that?
Yeah. So from the UK, the negativity is palpable. It's in the air. I still have lots of friends in the UK, as you can imagine, and they all talk about the negativity and just the sort of there's like a sort of oppressive atmosphere. And I didn't fully realise quite how entrenched in that I was until I came here. And I actually, again, we talked about this before coming on air, I actually had a little mini freak out when I got to Dubai. And my anxiety just kind of spiked because I was in such a negative headspace without realising it, just being soaked into that kind of environment where people are negative, and there's maybe it's something to do with the weather, I don't know, but there's a real attitude in the UK of crabs in a bucket, and they don't want people to do well, and there's not very friendly, and everybody's kind of out for themselves. And people talk about Dubai as being this kind of capitalistic hellhole, and people are out for themselves, and people are superficial, and you won't make real friends there. Nonsense. I have never met a lovelier bunch of people than I've met in Dubai. Are more positive, focused people. Like, I met a dude in a lift the other day with his two little boys from Uzbekistan, runs some car dealership out here, and
amazing.
Lovely guy. But yeah, it's a really positive place, and I think if you're at all entrepreneurial minded and you are finding things difficult in your home country, which you will in the UK because the Labour government's in now, and it's just it's going to be screwed for a long time. Definitely come out to Dubai. I mean, just come on a holiday if you have to. Hell, in the link below this video, you can book a Calendly with me. I'm not going to charge you anything. I'm not looking to take money from you. I'll tell you my entire story of how I got here, and you can do that if you want. Not too many of you.
The link is going to be gone soon.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the link? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what's funny? We both, and I was actually just thinking about this while you were talking. When you asked me what I like so much about Dubai, I didn't even mention taxes. And I'm not trying to say I'm not trying to act all, I don't even care about the taxes. I do. But the fact that I just answered you and taxes wasn't even a part of my answer actually just made me realize how much more I love Dubai. Even every single day, I love it more and more. Because yes, taxes is a huge reason. It's actually one of the main reasons why I moved here. But now it's not anymore. Because even if, and I don't want this to change, but even if Dubai did have some taxes, I would still feel good and comfortable staying here because I feel like I'm getting my money's worth, which is not the case back home in Canada. It's not the case. You don't get your money's worth. The money goes to the government and I honestly couldn't tell you where it goes. I have no idea where it goes. Here, you know where it goes. And if you are paying taxes, it's only when you're buying goods and services here, and it's a 5% VAT on goods and services here. That's so small, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would echo that as well. The tax burden here is low, and that's great. But you're right, you didn't even mention taxes. And now that I'm here, I know that I have kind of harped on about taxes because we're just doing this podcast and it's kind of what your business is about. But I have been able to focus so much more here, and just being around people that are succeeding, that want to succeed, and that are kind of driving their lives forward. It's infectious. It's, you almost can't help but make money here with the networking opportunities.
One of the biggest things I was talking to my business partner about yesterday, because we met another client yesterday for lunch before the dinner with my other clients.
Yeah.
They're talking to us about this new business that they're doing for the last 6 months, and it's like, oh my God, there's so many different things you can do here. It's distracting. It's like, no, I need to focus on GenZone. I don't need to do another business. Exactly. I don't have time for that. So that's one thing. You come here. Even me, I came here with one business. I'm not doing that business anymore. For the last 2.5 years, we've been doing just really GenZone. And that's what we'll be doing for the foreseeable future too. But it's crazy. Even if you came here with no business, you'll leave with something for sure. As long as you want to and you don't want to, have a narrow mind of, I'm not going to have a business. Yeah. You'll find something for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And as you say, we're not hating on people that want to have a job, and there's nothing wrong with working and having a job and working for a corporation. There's a lot to be said for that, because not everybody has to run a business, and I think you need to be kind of almost like a bit of a weirdo in a way to kind of run a business, because there's so much. It's so difficult that you've kind of got to be crazy in some way to kind of do it. So I'm not hating on.
No, I agree with you. Honestly, like most people, having a job is perfect. You don't need to be the business owner.
Yeah.
Leave the stress to the business owners. Just enjoy your day-to-day activities and make your money. Not everyone has to be a business owner, and I cannot hate on that either.
Exactly. Well, I mean, my business is recruitment, so we recruit salespeople into the US and hoping to do more in the UAE. But it's funny, since I've been posting things on LinkedIn about me being in Dubai, so many people have reached out to me and like, dude, how do I get to Dubai? How do I do this? And it's difficult because the only way I know is obviously through you guys, which is to set up a business. But most of these people, they work for, Oracle or Salesforce or something like this. So they work for big corporates. So I think the only thing they can do is maybe put in a transfer and see.
They could set up a business here and just be a contractor for that company.
That's true.
And in some cases, the company actually loves that because, like you mentioned, they don't have to pay these taxes to employ these employees anymore. And these pension plans, funds that they have to pay into, they don't have to contribute to those anymore. They don't apply anymore. Yeah. So the employer and then for them on top of that, it's like, oh, I'm the employer. Now this guy's a contractor or this girl's a contractor for me. There's less risk involved as well. Hopefully none of your, colleagues get fired, but it's less risky for the business as well. So actually a lot of them prefer that. We have a lot of clients who work jobs, but now they're just contractors, independent contractors.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. Again, that's sort of 50% of our business as well, which is, contractors, as you say, like temp workers and stuff.
Exactly.
People that are thinking of coming to Dubai, we've talked about all of the kind of positive stuff, of which there is a ton. Is there anything you can think of that people should know before coming to Dubai? Is there anything that kind of shocked you when you got here and you thought, oh, damn, I wish I knew about that before I came?
To be honest, no.
Yeah.
I'm looking around thinking, what's bad about Dubai?
There's no escape over there, I'm afraid.
I think the number one thing for people is the weather. Yeah. They're not used to having perfect weather every day, and it does get hot. It's perfect weather, but it's also hot. So they're not used to that. That's the first thing I can mention. I don't know how that's impacting you right now. I think you came during the summer, right? Right.
Yeah,
so you experienced the real deal.
Dude, it was horrific. So I've told this story again. I'm sorry, it's in another video, but I arrived on the 25th of August, 26th of August, I should say. So height of the summer, insane temperatures, and being there's an expression that only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the midday sun. So typical English person, I'd kind of calmed down and I thought, right, I'm gonna go to the marina. I'm going to go to the marina and I'm just going to... so I jumped on the metro. I thought, I'm not going to get a taxi. I'm going to jump on the metro, which was, even though it's air-conditioned, is still roasting.
Yeah.
and I got out at the wrong station. I got off at Showbar Realty when I should have got.
Okay.
I should have got.
I think
off
that's
at,
down here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
down
down
here,
here. Yeah. Instead of getting off at the mall, so I jumped out at Showbar Realty, not knowing where I'm going, and it's 50 degrees.
Oh my God.
50 degrees. Felt like 63 with this boiling hot
Yes.
wind.
Oh my God.
And because I didn't know I wasn't close to the mall. It's like a 20-minute walk.
Oh no.
So I'm walking along Sheikh Zayed Road in this baking hot sun with taxis and fumes and lorries and stuff. Dude, I said in my video I nearly died, but there was no water, no shop along the way, nothing. I got to the Dubai Mall and the guy, like my mouth was like almost bleeding. I got to the mall and the guy on the door was showing people in, and he's like, "Okay, sir, are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So I went and sat in a Starbucks and thought, "Oh my God, I feel terrible." And I filmed a video for a friend to just say, I nearly died. And I looked at myself. I looked awful.
Oh my God.
I just had sweat pouring off me, and it was. So yeah, you need to
Don't
be
do
careful.
that again.
Yeah, you need to be careful.
Yeah, no, don't do that again, please, Dan. We need to keep you around a little longer.
Exactly.
It does get hot in the summer, that's for sure. Honestly, I don't even spend my summers here.
No.
If I do, it's for like a couple weeks here and there.
Yeah.
But that's usually when people travel. You know, because you can, of course you can stay, but that's usually when people travel. This year, I think I'm going to stay here in the summer too. Just focus and lock in. But yeah, I think the heat is probably the worst thing. And also one other thing is maybe, I guess, a culture shock. Since we're all coming from Western countries, we're not used to the Arabic. We're not used to, the kind of demographic of people living here as well.
Yeah.
Maybe you are, maybe you aren't. But that is a little bit of a culture shock.
Yeah.
But other than that, honestly, there's really nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing. You get used to it within 1 week. If you don't like it, after 1-2 weeks, you'll be jumping up and down.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I think I've mentioned this before, but was saying to Kevin, when I arrived, I kind of hated the place, and I just thought, what have I done? I've made a huge mistake.
Because it was your first time in Dubai.
Yeah, I was a dummy. Yeah.
No, but you know what? Most people do that.
Really?
Yeah, most of our clients, the first time they ever come to Dubai is when they set up their business here.
Yeah, because I just looked on YouTube and thought, it'll be fine.
Yes.
I'll
Even for
move.
myself, the first time I came here
Wow.
was when I set up our
Yeah.
business here. But actually, technically, I came when I was like 3 years old, but that's not really,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I just thought, it'll be fine. I'll move to the Middle East. It'll be fine. How bad can it be? But it's obviously being here now, it's great. But I was really freaking out when I first got here. But I would reiterate what you've said, which is the heat is definitely something. And I'm a person that I thought I don't really like the heat. And you might think, well, I'm a fool for coming to Dubai then. But it's weird because whilst it is hot, it's not like now. It's not.
Perfect.
It's not insane at all. It's like 35 degrees, which if you're in the UK, is hot. Like you think, oh, it's crazy. But it's not geared up for it. Like here, there's aircon everywhere. You're hot here until you don't want to be hot, and then you just go inside, and and that's the end of it. But yeah, as you say, I think one of the things that took me a while to get used to is the service culture, and as you say, there's a sort of demographic of people here. There's lots of Westerners. There's lots of the Emiratis themselves are here that sort of work in a lot of the government jobs. There's lots of Indians, Pakistanis. There's lots of Africans here that work in like the service culture.
Filipinos too?
Filipinos, of course. Yeah.
Love Filipinos.
Yeah. They're good fun. They work at. There's a load of Filipinos that work at a Zoom market just around the corner from me that are always good fun.
Yeah.
So that took a while to get used to. And so how easy then is it, do you think, to get here as a Westerner? Because a lot of people that think about coming to Dubai, me included, they think that it's like Singapore or somewhere like that where you've got to have these crazy kind of entrance requirements where you've got to invest $2 million in real estate or something like that. So if you're sat in the UK, how easy, because most of my audience in the UK, so how easy is it for someone in the UK to kind of to call you, to book a call with you and to be in Dubai? What do they need to do and how easy is it?
It's extremely easy. Literally, you could book a call whenever it's the earliest availability, if it's tomorrow or after tomorrow, whenever. And within 2 weeks, as long as, let's say, we started the process right away, you can have everything you need to actually fly into Dubai. All you need is a passport scan. Fill out the document that you filled out, which we provided to you. It takes 30 minutes to fill max. And I think it probably only took you that long because you're choosing the company name.
Exactly.
That's the hardest part. I always tell my clients, the hardest part of moving to Dubai is choosing your company name.
Yeah.
Because that's really it. You can fill that out 10, 20, 30 minutes, provide the passport scan, of course, make the prepayment, 50% at least payment to start the process. And then within 2 weeks, you'll have everything you need to fly in. And then within 2 weeks of you being in Dubai, you'll have everything set up, which is kind of unreal. A lot of people think that, setting up in Dubai is hard. No, it's not. It's not hard, and it's not expensive either.
No.
When you consider the tax savings as well, crazy. Actually, one other thing that I like to mention to people, I know this is kind of off topic, but even the tipping culture here doesn't exist. So just the money that you save in tips, I don't know how it is in the UK, but in Canada, it's insane. So like 30% on top of your bill or 20% in tips, just that money alone pays for like the annual costs of having your business.
Yeah, and this is, again, funnily enough, I mentioned this in a video, and we haven't even talked about this, but when I came here and people were sort of super friendly and lots of like the service people in the hotels and stuff, in the UK, because I'm quite cynical, I would think, they're chasing a tip. They want a tip. Not at all, they're just trying to help you.
Yeah, that's their job. Their job is to give you a really good experience.
Yeah.
And there's no tips. They'll just hand you the machine, pay.
Yeah.
It's so rare for someone to ask for a tip. Usually the most they'll do is ask for a Google review.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Happy to give you a Google review, of course.
Yeah, exactly.
Makes you feel a lot more comfortable. You're not like worried about I don't know, but in Canada, whenever I eat, I'm always thinking about the tip, and it kind of ruins the experience, especially at the end. They hand you the machine. There's like a huge 30% tip button, and they're like staring at you to make sure that you're tipping it.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
No,
Here, they don't do that.
I mean, shouldn't I decide if I'm going to give you a tip?
Exactly, yeah. I mean, I do tip generally. Even here, I still tip, but like it's my choice too, and I don't have to.
Yeah, I do as well.
Exactly.
So we're coming to the end. I think let's sort of wrap this up, because I think we can probably talk about this all day. But what is probably the best piece of advice that you've ever gotten that you can think? I'm going to try and ask all the guests this, whether it could be business, personal. I know it's a little bit unfair to just throw this at
No, that's
you.
a great question. I know the answer right away.
Okay.
The answer is don't cheap out trying to save money. Don't do it.
Yeah.
And I like to think of this analogy. Let me just add a follow-up point. Don't try and cheap out to save money when it's not going to benefit you. So my analogy is, if you're in a car and there's a car in front of you braking and they're stomping the brakes, they're coming to a full stop, would you rather have the good brakes that cost $1,000 or the cheap brakes that cost $100?
Yeah.
And every single person that I ask tells me I want the $1,000 brakes because I don't want to die. I don't want to come into issues.
Yeah.
So apply that to the rest of your life. Now, I'm not saying go and waste money unreasonably, but if someone can actually help you and provide a good service for you, even for myself, I hire people to assist us. I hire employees. I hire people. I don't cheap out because I know that if I do, it's going to come and bite me back somewhere else and actually make me lose money. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice. And it's actually helped us grow our company to where it's gotten to today. Even with referral programs, being really good to our clients. Don't cheap out. Take care of them. Take care of everyone. It'll come back to you and in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that as well as an expression that very similar, which is, if you buy cheap, it works out expensive in the end.
Yes. Yeah. There you go.
So one person, alive or dead, that you would like to have dinner with maybe, and why? Maybe a historical figure or somebody that you would like to, someone you'd like to meet, maybe you'd like to have dinner with them.
To be honest, probably Elon Musk. Elon Musk is he is one of my favorite celebrity entrepreneurs.
Okay.
He's a really interesting guy. I don't know. He just comes to my mind. I think what he's done is incredible. You can probably agree. He's started some pretty big companies. He's gone a rocket to space and then landed it back on Earth. So yeah. Elon Musk for sure.
Yeah, and he's got a dummy in a car orbiting the Earth or something.
He has so much going on. To be honest, I don't even know everything he has going on.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. So I think that's probably going to do it, Kevin.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time. You've been very generous.
It was awesome to have you here. And so, sorry. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
Feels like it's my podcast. No, it's not. honestly, welcome to Dubai. If anyone needs any assistance moving to Dubai, contact him. There's links down below. He has an awesome channel. I just found out about it yesterday. I was like, wow, Dan, I've never seen this channel. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
It's a really good channel. He goes over a lot of cool stuff. I'm going to binge it when I get home.
Yeah. As Kevin said, click the link below. You can book a call with the man himself, Mr. Fix-It in Dubai. He's also helped, which I'm not going to go into a huge amount of detail with, but he's also helped me set up a tax structure for a US business that integrates legally with the Dubai company. There's a whole bunch of stuff we could talk about that maybe for another one.
So much value, yeah.
But honestly, as I say, I call Kevin Mr. Fix-It. Anything you need in Dubai, he can sort you out. Kevin, thank you very much. Appreciate you being here.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. And as I say in all of my videos, your journey towards wealth, health, happiness and success all starts with the decisions that you make today.
So there we go, guys. Episode 1 in the can. I really enjoyed that. I hope you did too. It was great to talk to Kevin. He's a super cool guy. Book a call below with him if you want to get yourself out to Dubai. You will need to set a business up, so you will need to have all of that sorted out. It's not really suitable if you're working for a big company, but as Kevin said, you can sort yourself out with a company. You can come and contract out here. There's a ton of opportunities in the Middle East. You just don't know because you're stuck in the UK at the moment. And let me know what your thoughts are on the podcast. What was your favorite bit? What really resonated with you? And I would really appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button below, because it really helps me out. It's a fairly low effort thing for you guys to do, and you'll get notified about future episodes, as I have big plans for the podcast, and hopefully we're going to get some quite high profile people on that I'm already in discussions with. So hit subscribe and stick around for that. So yeah, I'd really appreciate a subscribe and a like and a comment. But until next time, thank you for watching, and remember, it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep.